Good morning. I will declare a quorum and call the meeting to order, and Dave Fair will lead us in our prayer this morning.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mayor Pro Tem Shelton, Commissioners Worley, Staley, and Shaw, and all the other elected officials, employees of the county. As I try to do every Monday, is thank y'all for the work that you do. People think this is a high-paying deal. And I used to think that before I got on the city council. All it was a bunch of headaches, but I learned. But thank you for what you're doing. Let's stand, say the pledge, and remain standing for the prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remain standing, please. Father God, we love you. We thank you for your grace and your mercy to Brown County and all those in it, Lord. Father, we plead the blood of Jesus over everything that we do, Lord. Father, we look for guidance, we look for wisdom, and we look for direction, Lord, as this group works on the budgets, Lord, and as they work on other things such as the committees and commissions and everything. Father, be with them, bless them, give them peace. And now may the Lord bless you and keep you and cause his face to shine upon you and give you peace. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Dave.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it as always. Item number 3 is citizens' comments. I don't have anyone signed up to speak. So let's see. Item number 4 is consideration and approval of minutes from August 31st.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the August 31st meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Okay, that carries. Let's see, consideration approval of any treasurer auditors report.
There is a treasurer's and auditor's report for August 2020, and you have it in front of you.
Got it.
Says total cash and CD on hand is $14,387,358.45. If there's any questions on that, auditor and the treasurer would entertain those questions.
Questions? Do we need a motion?
We do, and I'll move that we approve the treasurer's and auditor's report for the month of August 2020.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. All
I
right,
have
we're
an
gonna,
affidavit for everyone to sign.
okay. We're gonna skip item number 6, and we'll move it to item number 7. And first I'm gonna go with 7B, which is Lisa. Lisa, you wanna come on up? Lisa did talk to us about the health department, and then Judy, you'll be next. I see you back there somewhere. Good morning.
So since we met, I think that the last day that I was here was on October 31st. We've had 66 additional cases, and that brings us to 700 cases total for Brown County. We have had no additional deaths during that time. Active cases is 119, and it had been 116 then. So our activity is remaining fairly consistent. I also put some information about school districts, and so we've had quarantines and cases probably in every school district or close to. And so during that time, if we go back to the 31st, we've had a little bit more growth in those school age groups. And so it was at 67 on the 31st, and now it's up to 86 in those under 18 school age group. Since the beginning of school, that number has increased by 39 positives. So we are trying to work on being prepared for a vaccine if it does happen sometime in the fall. So we wanted y'all to know that. We're trying to procure some equipment that would enable us to maintain temperature of the vaccine that we will be holding. So,
We're still at 26.
yes. Kind of the process on that has changed a little bit. We will be looking or reviewing death data that comes from the state. And so we had to get everybody or a group of our employees trained and into that system. So there may be some lag time in that we're not aware of yet.
Will that go back and change the records kind of if they redo the?
It could, we really don't know what will happen with that. My thought is that we may capture people that were members of our community or our county, and then they were hospitalized elsewhere and it passed away, and that information didn't make it back to us, so it could increase our death count a little bit. Hoping that's not the case, but want to be prepared if it is.
Questions for Lisa? Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am. All right, next I want to skip down to item number 7, J as in John, and that'll be, glasses on, Judy Brown Lee with the Brown County Child Welfare Board, and they need consideration and possible approval of appointment of a new board member.
Thank you all for having us.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
you for coming. Sorry with the delays, but we're finally here. So.
Here, okay, very good. We have one potential new member, and that's Kelly. If you want to stand.
Hi, Kelly.
And we also have one of our board members, Lily Mason, just here to
Are we need?
support. You can sit. Okay. We're very pleased with our board at this time. Kelly Renee Cox Lindsay is a native of this area since birth, with a time span of 20 years living out of state with family. Her passion is to help others with all she has and knows. I've worked with this community at MHMR with clients in group homes. This outreach is my primary passion. I was born to help others, and in my immediate family, you would see the same thing. To feature my work in my community, my occupation as an insurance agent started during high school as a family friend hired me as a secretary and writing new customers. This started a passion in my life to work with the public, helping fill the gap of insurance to protect their hard-earned assets. Being in the public really has been nurtured all my life. I developed naturally a heart for giving and protection for others. I am secretary of Cowboy Cemetery and for 1 year president-elect at Kiwanis Club of Brownwood. For my love for kids, from helping care for many babies in my family from early in life, I became Aunt Kells. My thought, learning, and research desire began early as a child, teaching my stuffed animals. I had a whole classroom set up. These characteristics continued to build who I am today. Proud owner of my own business, Lindsay Agency, 500 Garland Drive in Irving, Kansas. I recently relocated the office from Brownwood. I felt the need to reach a more diverse communities in a new location. I'm eager to help others, young and old, without anything in return. I'm protective of anyone I come in contact with, by sometimes just offering an ear to listen. I'm very detailed and never take no as my final answer in my work or life. I will work with everything I have and know to you, everything I have and know to your organization helping children in our community. Thank you for this nomination, Kelly Nancy.
Thank you,
She
ma'am.
has been background checked.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Do we have any questions or a motion?
I move we approve Kelly as a new board member for Child Welfare Board.
I'd second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous, ma'am.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming out.
We'll just do our, yeah.
Okay, well, you are welcome to come up here if you'd like. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, item number 7A is Commissioner Kelton, consideration and approval of any appropriate action regarding the burn ban.
I'm in favor of lifting the burn ban for now. I'm not sure for how long, but
What? Excuse me. I would agree with that. We can stand the burn ban being lifted.
All right, you want to put it in motion?
I make a motion that we lift the burn ban until further further findings on it to change it for a later date. And we're due off.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, the burn ban is lifted. Now, keep in mind that if it gets dry again, we very well may have to put it back on. All right, item number, let's see. Put my glasses on. 7C is in Charles is Sharon. Sharon? Let me go ahead and read it in the record. Public hearing for preservation and restoration of county clerk's records archives.
Well, first we will have a public hearing, so we'll need to open up the public hearing and see if there's any.
Oh, I was reading the wrong one. Let me go back. 7C is a public hearing on preservation and restoration of the county clerk's records archives. Then we'll do item number D.
I did ask if anybody has any questions.
Right, so public hearing is open. Questions? Sharon?
We have the plan before us. That money comes from your records archive fund.
Yeah.
Dedicated for the use of this. And you changed it really any from last year's plan?
Yes, I'll explain that to you in the next item. I guess.
Any questions from the audience?
I was gonna say Chief Fruit is here.
It's all right. Let's see. Okay, well then, we'll close the public hearing then, and we'll go to item number 7E, which is also, I'm sorry, 7D, which is consideration now and approval of the county clerk's records archival fee and plan.
You should have a plan before you. I've given each of you a copy of the plan that I have prepared. The fee is effective September 1st, 2019. The fee went from 5 to 10 permanently. Our Senate bill is $6.58. And we have been collecting this fee, I believe, since 1984, I'm not sure, but a long time. We have records from 1880 forward for all of our birth, death, marriage, probate, civil, criminal, all of our records that we house in our office. But this fee is a fee that we charge to be able to archive those records that are deteriorating and to put them in a digital format so they can be viewed on the internet. And it also, I have about $373,000 in that fund at this point. The last project I did was over $200,000. This is my third project. I'm currently working on a project now. We're going 10 years back at a time with the whole property records to get those online. At this point, I'll be back into the 20s. So I should have one more large project to do after this project. It takes over a year to get this done because they index them independently. from at each one, so that's why it's so expensive. And then the public has really given me good feedback about having these online, especially in Fraser District. So you can sit at your home and look at these. That is what I do with the money. There's all kinds of things that I could do. It does reduce the manual lookup and searches in my office. You don't have to come in anymore, you can just sit at home and look. You can print a copy, it'll have the word copy across them, but I don't charge for those records. We can eliminate the need for paper records. We continue to archive our records daily, but this is for archive records that are not yet in this format. So these are old books that we're having done. And that is my plan later, is to do the birth and death records after we get all the land. It's just an ongoing project that will probably last longer than any of us will, because there's so many records and this has never been done. And I've been here 33 years and it's never, I started this project. This is my third project to get these records done because that's all I can use that money for. So I started in 2006. So that is what I'm asking your approval for. And I've put out in your paper there that exactly what my plan is. And if I have to derail from that plan, I'll have to come before the court. I come before the court anyway every time I spend it, just so y'all will know what's going on. But I have to have your permission as a court to collect that fee. It is collected on real property records. When someone pays a filing fee, $10 of that goes into this archive fund. So that's where that money comes from, is the filing of records or the land records. So it's just given back to what people are paying, is so they can have them to be able to go to the internet and look at those. So that is my request, and I have an order here for you to adopt this records archive.
I've got a question, Sharon.
Okay.
In your first page here, in the noteworthy topics, says number 3, in previous years, it was presented to the Commissioners Court that the archive fee is collected in civil and criminal filing. And this is not so.
When I first started, I thought that it was collected on there, and it's not. I just left that in there because I had told y'all at one time that it was collected on civil and criminal, and it was just my error that I was telling you that it is not collected on civil.
So you're not collecting that fee on civil and criminal filings? Okay.
I think the district clerk does, I'm not sure, she'll explain it to you. She collects it on her civil. But we have different requirements. That
Okay.
we have to do.
Okay, so you need an order
I've
to,
got an order right here.
a motion to adopt the order is what you need.
Yes, just to allow me to continue to collect
Sure.
the fee. Some counties have already archived all their records, so they no longer collect that fee. But that's just to help counties to pay for this large amount of money that it costs to do this.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to adopt the order for the county clerk's records archival plan.
I'll make that motion. We adopt that.
Second.
Okay, any further questions? Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, you need us all to sign this one, correct?
Yes.
All right, that is done. Item number 7E is the same thing, but for our district clerk, but I need to read it into the record. We'll open a public hearing on preservation and restoration of the district clerk's archival records plan. So anybody in the audience, it is a public hearing. Anyone have any questions? Commissioners?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll close that public hearing and we'll go to item number 7F, which is the district clerk consideration and possible approval of the district clerk's records archival plan and fee. Thank you, Cheryl.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of resound on what Sharon said for hers, only we have requirements. I'm here to present the district clerk plan for preservation and restoration of archive records for your approval. This plan is to be submitted yearly, and it allows our office to continue to charge the archive fee of $10. House Bill 1513 created a district court records technology fund, better known as the archive fund, and authorizes district clerks to collect an additional fee of $5, not to exceed $10 per filing in civil cases. The fee was scheduled to revert back to $5 for each filing on 9/1/19, but House Bill 658, which Sharon advised you, effective 9/1/19, repealed going back to $5 and kept it at $10 and made it permanent. And like she said, we're allowed to, we do need to get your approval, and we have to do it as part of the budget process every year. And these funds are to be used for the preservation and restoration of the district court records. We have just completed an archive project restoring old historical printed books that was deteriorating from 1884 to 1925. And we would like to start another one. We have also ordered file shelving for the back, our back room. In last March, we haven't gotten them yet because COVID has kind of slowed everything down, but we're running out of room. So we are working on records retention and trying to get everything where they need to be. And like I said, I would like to start another project. I don't see ever not being able to collect it. We're able to collect it until we are up to date. Honestly, with as many records as we have and as expensive as the process is, I would be real impressed if we ever got it today. I see this as being an ongoing thing, and it's very important. And I'm requesting the approval of the district court plan for preservation and restoration of records. I also have an order here. Does anybody have any questions?
Now, neither one of these have any prices or any particular project that comes to us whenever, I guess, you actually start a project or something.
No, we always, I always, and I think she always comes to you anytime we need to use those files, but it's the statutes are very specific how they're used. And when in question, like the shelving, I call the TAC, their legal team, just to make sure that it can be used that way.
Okay, so we need an order to adopt a records archival plan for the district clerk's office.
Yes,
Do you have a motion?
I move we adopt the archival plan for district clerk.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, ma'am. We'll get that signed for you. Thank you, Cheryl. You want to copy? Okay, you want
I'll
to get
get a
it
copy
from
of the later. Thank you so much.
All right, Chief Troop, you want to come on up? Item number 7G is the sheriff's office. Here from the sheriff's office is the chief deputy. Consideration of possible approval of action regarding personnel changes. Well, we got 3 in a row here, so for you, chief.
Bear with me here, we'll get them figured out. This is gonna be for the jail, this is jail visitation. Danielle Keeter's gonna be replacing David Maniloff, who left us back in April. She's gonna be moving from the jail visitation part-time to the jail commissary part-time. The pay is still $13 an hour, not to exceed 20 hours per week for that position. The next one's going to be for Brady Wade, replacing Danielle Keeter at $13 an hour, not to exceed 20 hours a week. It will be visitation, part-time jailer. Then Michelle Banda start on 9/14, replacing Amanda Pace, who left us on 9/2 of this year. It's gonna be the base salary of $32,000 annually, being replaced at $32,000 annually.
That's a jailer position.
It's full-time jailer position.
Is that it for personnel?
That's it on personnel.
All right, so we need to, anybody want to entertain a motion to approve?
I make a motion, we approve the 3 changes in the sheriff's office and personnel.
Okay, we have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, item number passes. Item number 7H is consideration and possible approval of action regarding the acceptance of donations for the sheriff's office.
So during the fires that we were having, we had a gentleman who come to the office and wished to remain anonymous, but made a donation to the sheriff's office for $400 for the purchase of game cameras to be utilized in the investigation of those fires. He wrote a check. He said he just wished to remain anonymous on that.
I move we approve the donations to the sheriff's office.
Second. Oh, Larry got it. Larry.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, unanimous. Donations are accepted. And then item number 7I is an IDO. It's consideration and possible approval of action regarding the granting of permission for the sheriff to enter into a contract with Comanche County to house the inmates. And that's just the standard contract that we have with every other county. But this time it's going the other direction. We're housing inmates in a different facility instead of housing them for us housing others, correct?
That's correct. Sheriff advised me to get with you and I'll sign that contract, but just to run down for the commissioner's court. We got pretty full there for a little bit with the state not taking any prisoners to TDC. Big ordeal there as far as that went. The jail commission got involved, said that we couldn't keep what we had on the males. We had too many. We're able to get with Comanche County and house some inmates over there for a short period of time. They're no longer there and haven't been there close to a week probably now. So we've got our numbers down. TDC pulled chain. We sent 27 one day. I believe there was 6 or 7 another trip, and then one, and at least some more leaving out as well. So we'll get our numbers down as TDC takes the people that were paper ready.
What size of jail does Comanche County have?
You know, honestly, I'm not 100% sure how many beds they have. When I worked over there, it's fairly large jail, but it's not even up and running at full capacity because they can't get the employees to house or to work to house inmates of that size. They've got a whole wing shut down over there.
I move we approve the contract with Comanche County to house inmates.
I have a contract here for you.
I'll second it.
Oh, okay. Or wait, somebody else. I like
I'll second it, sure. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor? Thank you.
Which one do you need signed?
I believe that, sure.
Or has the sheriff already signed?
I believe that that has already been taken care of.
Yeah, we had this, because we had to get them out of the jail, I signed it on Friday. Since Friday's meeting was canceled, I went ahead and signed it so we could get in compliance with the jail commission. There's a copy of it if you need it.
I don't have one that's signed.
Okay.
I was aware of that.
You need a copy of this one.
I'm sure the sheriff has one.
Okay, if you don't,
Pass it on for commissioner's court.
Thank you, Chief.
You want the jail report as well? That way y'all know what you got. Looks like we have 151 inmates as of this morning, 112 males and 39 females. So we got a little bit of room.
We have housing any out of,
No out of county.
Okay, just-
We're not housing any out. We have one here, one male for us. For housing.
Just one.
Just one.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Larry, come on up. So I've got 7K is Larry Franks, our election administrator. Consideration and possible approval of action regarding the purchase of replacement absentee request and mail ballot management system. That was a mouthful.
A little history, we've been using APS, the automated processing system from Hart. And they may have gotten a little bit of the cart before the horse on this one. They quit maintaining it because they were expecting, I guess, November to come up with a new approval for absentee processing system, and they're not there yet. But we need it now. And the APS system that we are using, team has updated their database structure, and APS didn't. And so when we try to upload the mail ballots that we've mailed out and everything, we're getting errors in team recording that transaction. And when we're up to 1,000 mail ballots, it takes time. With this new absentee request mail ballot management system from VR Star system, they are already up to snuff on the upgrades in team, so their technology is in sync. I've seen 2 demos online, and it's incredibly simple compared to the system where it's click and point, and then spits out labels, just like we always got in the old system, to put on the multiple sets of envelopes to mail out, return, store, and so forth. So we're really excited about this new system. And they only want $3,000 for the system, and then $2,500 annual maintenance. I believe that's less. Off the top of my head, I don't remember what we were doing with APS, but I believe this is less than what we were paying the Arts APS system. So I'm asking for approval to spend $3,000. This will come out of the COVID grant funds for ballot carrying.
I'll make a motion. We approve the request from the elections office to purchase that equipment, or the system, I guess you should call it.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. The only discussion I have is be sure to make sure you list it as COVID, so we'll know where to bill it to whenever you submit your invoice. Okay, so
Does the maintenance fund or maintenance charge, does that start now?
No.
Is it 3,000 plus 25,
No,
or is it 25 next year?
It'll start next year.
good question. And when COVID fund goes away, I guess you'll find another place in your budget to pay that.
$25 annual maintenance. We'll just replace what we were paying APS.
Okay, all right. I'll swap one for the other. All right, any further discussion? All in favor? Carries unanimous. Thank you, Larry. Okay, item number 7I is just information purposes. So when you see the invoice next month or in a few weeks on the bills, we're having to get a second chair for the deputies out front, and those chairs are, in my opinion, terribly expensive, but there's only basically one place you can buy them from. So it's going to be about a $900 bill that you'll see when it comes in. I just wanted you all to be aware of it. You didn't fall out of your chair, literally. No pun intended.
That's so it doesn't affect the reading on the, that rate of expenses, the chair.
Yeah, it's because it's so tall, it's the over the counter. So we have to order it from a place in Bryan, Texas that makes them. And according to the deputies, that's the only place that we can find. So I just want to make you aware of that before the bill came in. So there's no action needed on that. Item number 7M is the county auditor. Well, do we want to do that one last, or we'll open Kelton's bids last? Okay, so Jennifer, this is a consideration and approval of possible action regarding capital lease and or certificates of obligation for radio upgrades and infrastructure. And Commissioners, Chief Johnston's in the back, and there's been some adjustments to the final price. I'm sure you've gotten as far as exactly how many radios we need. And we also have, I guess he's here from VR.
Larry Brown.
Oh, Larry, I couldn't see you back there. Larry's here from the Brazos River Authority to answer any questions that you have, or what did I say, LCRA, to answer any questions that
Better
you
go to
have.
LCRA
Sorry.
instead of BRA.
Competitor, sorry, that's what I was reading this morning. So LCRA to answer any questions you've got. So say I'm about 200 miles shy of the Brazos River, so or where it flows, where you can at least do any serious fishing. So Jennifer, the floor is yours.
Well, in order to pay for the equipment, we will need to do either certificates of obligations or a capital lease.
Can you pull your mic a little, please? Thanks. Well, I'm having trouble hearing you too. Thank you.
I just need permission to, well, first of all, I guess, I need the court to decide between a certificate of obligation for this equipment or a capital lease. Basically, the difference is a capital lease, those payments will not factor into our debt service rate next year. We have to be able to pay that off immediately if needed. We have to be willing to terminate that capital lease as needed. Certificates of obligation, that would factor into our debt rate next year. And those, in order to get any of this, we've got to have it shop around. And due to the time crunch, I just need permission to let Southwest Securities shop those certificates of obligations if that's what you choose to do. Gary, do you have?
The capital lease can be done within I think, a week or two. Is that what Carrie was telling us, or within a few weeks?
Yes.
Within several weeks. And the COs would take a month or even two, I'm not sure.
It just depends on if
Just depends on how-
get it shopped around
Yeah.
and get it out.
How that Southwest could sell those bonds or certificates of obligation. The difference is, like Jennifer said, the capital lease would not figure into the debt service, so it would be going against our overall, I guess, the rollback rate for next year. But I don't think it would affect it that much. So personally, I think I would be in favor of doing the capital lease through Texas Bank or local banks instead of doing COs for or tax notes for a longer period of time.
That would be for the equipment portion,
For the
correct?
equipment, yes. Just
What's-
for,
Do you have the total, Daryl, the total, I just want to read into the record the total we're talking about for equipment.
There's breakdown.
we were talking about 2.4 million. Earlier. That's still,
Third page.
Thanks, sir. $2.174, am I reading it correctly? 635 for the record, 2.174, 635. While we're on that, does anybody have any questions about the equipment?
We were talking about, that last time we met, the Plan A, we were talking about that position, how long was the Plan A that they had, they presented?
This is Plan A plus one radio for each precinct and 5 additional radios for emergency management for a cash stand now.
Okay, where did the savings come in that we had the $100,000 we talked about at one time for, it was offered by the radio supplier.
Want me to come up there?
I just.
You can stand, we can probably hear you from there.
I'll try and talk loud in the matter. It's basically, the manufacturer of the equipment has offered me $100,000 additional credit that I can pass on to you. But he requires that you buy, between yourself and Brownwood, that you're going to buy 3 towers. and some number over 500 radios. And right now, the entire system, counting Bang, Gurley, and Brownwood, and yourselves, are at 537. So but I have to order it all at the same time, and that'll take $100,000 off that.
Okay, so this 2.1 isn't reflective of the $100,000 savings? Okay, all right, thank you.
Is that 100,000 divided among all the radios, or that was volunteer fire department radio?
I basically was going to give it to the fire because they were having the hardest.
Okay.
You get to make that call, but I
Okay.
talked to Emily Crawford, and she supported my giving it to the county rather than the city in the help of the firefighters.
And Chief, that we're absolutely certain this is everything we need for each truck and the portables and all, this is the final
Yes,
number?
sir. This is the number all the county chiefs agreed on at the last meeting.
So, all right.
Well, that's not, that 2 point, whatever it is, wouldn't be the final number that we would have to finance. If we do tax notes, then there's gonna be another fee on top of that for Southwest selling the bonds. And if you do a lease purchase, then that fee doesn't come in there. It'd just be an interest fee for the loan or capital lease. And that was another reason that I'd be in favor of this, doing a capital lease for the radio project or the communication system upgrade.
You want to put that in motion?
Well,
I think everybody's nodding and agreeing with you.
yeah, I move that we go ahead with funding the communication system update through a capital lease through Texas Bank.
To the tune of 2 million, well, it'll be a little bit less whenever we got a discount perhaps.
Whatever. I would cap it at, says 2.1, let's put it $2.3 million.
I think we'll come in well into that. I want to second this motion.
And the other infrastructure money, we're talking about doing it a different way.
Well, the lease is where are, so the lease is,
What are we gonna do about our other infrastructure?
That would be-
How we gonna do that?
Will you give me permission to let Southwest Securities shop the?
Will this be, they're not gonna be, we want to combine these, now we're talking about separating them out because we can do the equipment.
Right.
Okay, well, I'll let y'all.
Is this route you choose to give? Okay,
What was that?
that's correct, that's the routes you want. Hey. All the other options, just be the best advantage to the county.
I believe so, yes, sir.
Okay, good enough for me.
I can agree, I concur on the radio.
all right, so
I
I
think
think
that-
I looked at them, I see discrepancies.
He's made a motion.
We made a
But I
motion.
don't like, but anyway, she's Frank, so that's
so then we'll come back and do the infrastructure separate.
Right, so, all right. So
All right, so we have a motion, do we have a second for the capital lease?
in that case, I'll second it.
All right.
Any further discussion? Again, this is on a capital lease for the equipment,
Yes, that's the radio upgrades that I need.
communications equipment. All right. All right, all in favor? Favor of that? All right, passes unanimously.
Hey, Judge,
Yes,
one more thing on radios, I know we can't take action on this, but in the budget workshop, Sheriff Field presented the maintenance, 17 a month per radio.
right.
We've raised the number of radios, so that's gonna need to get adjusted.
It's gonna affect that. Okay. Did you get that, Jennifer?
Yes.
All right, item number 7N is in Nora, is Commissioner Kelton.
That will be in next year's, back to the other, that'll be next year's budget though. Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
Equipment and infrastructure, I need permission to do the infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
Did I miss something? Help me out here. I've got scribblings all over.
So On M, it was for radio upgrades and infrastructure, so I still.
Oh, okay, so we still need to move on the infrastructure. Thank you. All right, so
That was just for.
that was, it's a two-part listing on the agenda, so the second part of that, thank you for catching that, is the part for the infrastructure, yes.
Well, I just asked her.
Well, I didn't know if we were gonna do that at a later meeting, but, so it's actually listed where we can do both. It's, so we can take action on that now if you like.
Right.
All right.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. I'm always in a hurry I don't wanna keep the crowd any longer than I have to, so.
That's fine. I'm ready to go on here. So what's she gonna offer on that second part of this?
Well, I'm unclear as to why we need the infrastructure tax note. Aren't we getting a $7.2 million grant for infrastructure?
We have a possibility.
If we haven't been awarded it yet.
I don't know if he's.
Well, I thought Bob said it was awarded.
No, I haven't received the electronic notification yet, so Bob's right in there, we can get him to come in and answer that if you'd like.
Well, that was my understanding that we were already approved for it.
I think they told him,
And that's my question.
Yeah.
Is if we're getting that grant, then why do we need
That grant,
to do
that
it?
grant is,
That does approximately, what, 10 miles or something?
yes, and they must be existing paved roads.
yeah, it's very limited as to what it
So
can.
that's not, well, that's what I mean, I need to fix other roads that need paved.
And what were we talking, like 250 per precinct, something like that, or did we come up with a number?
Oh, yeah,
The
you,
total, well, we came up with a number, but the total for
We had never
the
come up with a
precincts
number.
and the courthouses.
my first deal was just on that budget, get an extra $100,000 a year for precinct, but they don't come with this deal, and you're talking $300,000 every day.
How many miles, or will that even do a mile?
Well, it costs about, you do 2 passes, it costs about between 50 and 70,000 a mile.
15, 70,000 a mile. Bob, can you tell us the infrastructure grant, the 7.2 million, what's the status on that?
Oh, that's the infrastructure grant is the 164,000. You're talking about the EDA grant? That's the.
$7
$7 million
$7
grant.
million, yeah.
Okay, so, what would you like to know about it?
Well, what's the status?
Okay, well, the status is it's all the information's been received, all the ecological stuff and all that flood stuff, it's all submitted. And it's under review. They'll have a decision they set by early October possibly.
And you feel it's favorable, or?
Oh, yes, I believe it is.
Well, we can wait and see, because this year, it's getting so late that it's gonna be hard to pave anyway. I had one project I was working on, had the base all hauled on it, and then this flood came and washed it off, so that's what I said about, we can wait. But the bottom line is, that grant is strictly for existing paved roads, my understanding.
Correct.
Yes, so they're.
That didn't really help me on my bridge project, but that's kind of where I was saying, so that took away from what I was gonna pave with, had to
Got
work the bridge
one
with.
about a 5-mile existing paved road.
Yeah, this one, it's for 20 miles of, you have to completely redo the roads.
Yeah,
Dig them up.
yeah. So that's the point I was making about the other infrastructure, where the roads are not paved, need to be. I've got a place down there, got this big facility down there at the end of County Road 269. The traffic is atrocious, they employ about 40 people, plus the people that live there. I could keep a blade of a water truck on that road 5 days a week.
I'm
I
still,
can't afford it, I don't have the manpower. There's 200 other miles of that road to take care of.
I'm still in favor of doing something, because like I said, there's some things I gotta do and pay for that are not just replacing existing road. Like I said, that one, which we're gonna open bids in a little while, but I
Yeah,
mean, it's well over, I know it's gonna be well over $100,000 total, and then one little hit for one bridge we weren't expecting, which took away from anything we were gonna pay, so that's a pretty good hit.
So the question now is, do we want to go forward with the infrastructure today, or do we want to put it off and wait?
This deal's kind of pressing.
Well, I can wait, but I'm saying I'm still in favor of doing it, because even if we win the grant,
Yeah.
over here, that's not gonna address some issues that I need to deal with. in precinct two.
and our budget is so antiquated, you know, that we just can't get it all done with our present law.
And I've said it before, I'll say it again, I spend a lot of time explaining to people, I'm sorry, we don't really have the money to do the
Yeah.
proper maintenance we have on our paved roads. We've never done it since I've been here. We'll never get there.
So,
That's where we're going.
and I do remember that, we were looking at, that we were talking about 300,000 per precinct on the infrastructure.
Let's go with the precincts and then the courthouse maintenance with the elevator and things.
Right.
It'll be right at 2 million.
Okay. Did y'all hear on that one?
The elevator.
We gotta totally replace that elevator.
So, I mean, it doesn't have to be done today, but I'm still in favor of looking into the, and it takes some time to do that. That's the thing, and it's an issue.
So I guess the question is, do we want to move on infrastructure today, or do you want to wait and see? Of course, the grant Bob's talking about isn't really going to affect us.
It's not gonna affect what I need. I'm ready to move forward and go ahead and check into the certificate obligation. I know that Gary may not agree with that, but that's Gary's situation different over that.
Well, you know, we were all elected to work within our budget, and we've set our budget, so.
Tell me what you want to do.
Well, we talked about,
I'm in favor of waiting, but
if we're not gonna look at this, we need to look at the next budget. We're gonna start putting more money in precincts. When we talked about that this year, we decided we would do this and do instead of taking from the. So-
You know, that'll be gone in a year or two, we'll be in the same boat.
Yeah, I agree. We're just putting off the inevitable. We're going to have to address the road situation eventually. So either now or later. It's like with the radios, we went ahead and bit the bullet and did it all at once and got it done. So just tell me what y'all want to do. If you want to move forward now, somebody want to make a motion, or do you want to table it? Or
Well, I make a motion to move forward with it. She's gotta go out and do some investigation on this anyway, is that correct?
Well, this would be allowing the Southwest Securities to shop around for the notes.
But it's not binding yet to us, is it?
No, but what he did say is if you end up backing out, that it may be detrimental in the future, that it may make some of those people that have bid on it to kind of shy away. But if they're gonna shop these notes, then they need to get it done.
I couldn't hear what you said.
Sorry. Okay, so the representatives from Southwest Securities said that, you know, should they go and shop these notes and then y'all back away from it, that it could make some of the bidders shy away the next time you try to do it. That's just what he said. So, you know, if you're not real sure about it, then you might want to wait, and I'm telling him to hold off on shopping. What I need now is permission to let him shop the notes or tell him to hold off.
That can't hurt anything.
so your motion, you want is
Well, I haven't made a
permission to
motion yet, have I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
making most of it go forward.
But I mean, it's not the end of the world.
no, all you're doing is giving the auditor permission.
Yeah, to research it and get back to us, and then we can make a formal motion. I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, this again is just to allow her to investigate and bring us back our options. All in favor?
All right, and we specify this money is all for infrastructure projects. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna go buy equipment or, this is for,
Like it was separate file.
this is pavement material on the road, is what this is.
Okay, so item number 7N is Commissioner Kelton, open bids for concrete work, County Road 411. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Chief.
Do I go ahead and open this?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get out to you. And what this is, in precinct 2, we had a low water crossing and concrete structure that collapsed earlier this year. We've been doing a lot of work, but we had to go out and bid the remainder of the concrete work because it was so large. And so we've advertised twice, I think in accordance with all the rules for bids for this project, and we have one bid. I had two other phone calls other than this one for people that were interested, but apparently they didn't bid.
All right.
So here they are.
to read in the amount.
This is the notices, I guess. I'll be the notices. Bid spec plans. Now, we have one bid for this concrete work.
Who's it from?
And it's from Ribble Concrete and Land Construction LLC, and it's for $132,200.
Are you satisfied with that?
Well, that'd be the next
Two
item.
different items.
That'd be the next item. So,
No, I mean, are you
That's the
satisfied?
only bid.
well, I mean, I'm satisfied on the bid, I guess so, because we did advertise it, and like I said, I had some other people call, but we only actually, one person actually submitted a bid.
Okay, so then we'll move on to item number 7, O's and Ocean, which is also Commissioner Kelton, consideration and possible approval of the acceptance of the bid for concrete work on County Road 411. And he just acknowledged that we only had one bid, so.
Yeah, I was gonna do a little, real quick.
We can accept that bid, or you can re-advertise it.
Or you can clarify,
Or what?
or you can clarify if you need to talk to him.
He's well aware of all this because they helped us when we did some of the initial stuff to get those when I was setting the box covers. So, let's see. It is a lot of area. It's 4,279 square feet. Some of it's 7 inches thick, and some of it's on some real slopes and some footings also. I think that's probably reasonable considering. I was hoping for some better, but I didn't really know exactly what we were gonna see on this. So I guess I will make a motion that we approve this bid to complete that road so we can get it opened up and going.
We have a motion to accept the bid.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? County Attorney, you all right with everything? All right. All in favor? Okay, here's unanimously. Thank you, sir. All right, then we'll move back up to item number 6, which is our final item on the agenda, consideration, approval, payment of any bills as needed.
While y'all are doing that, can I just ask one question to clarify?
Sure.
What exactly did y'all do on the radios?
2 point.
No, what did you do today? What action did you take today?
To go to Texas Bank for a capital lease.
Capital lease.
Okay, and so, are you, I'm a little confused. Did you approve, did you give the auditor the authority to discuss that with Texas Bank? Are you actually entering it into a contract with someone for the purchase of the radios? What exactly did y'all do today?
We approved for the auditor to enter into an agreement with Texas Bank for a capital lease.
Okay.
On just the communications.
So at
Just
some point in time,
communication.
are you gonna approve an actual contract with like LCRA for the radios?
Uh,
I mean, what, is this?
We have the financials available now, so
Yeah, we
yes.
would have to, because the radios have only been discussed in budget hearings, so
Right.
it has to be approved.
Okay.
probably
So
at the
I
time
just
of
wanted to
the-
make sure that your discussions with Texas Bank are not binding the county to actually purchase the radios.
No,
That's a separate meeting.
it's a separate meeting.
Which I guess we put that on the next agenda.
Which will be very soon, but
Yeah.
So
But I just
once-
wanted to make sure that we weren't, that y'all didn't think that you were binding yourself to purchase radios, a specific amount of radios, configurations, tower leases.
This is just the financing portion of it.
Okay.
The actual contract for the radios
No.
has not even been brought to
So the
We did-
motion,
We
the
do,
motion is Worley, made a motion to enter into capital lease, for approximately 2.3 million. That's it?
That's the
For
maximum.
communication equipment,
yeah, that's the maximum.
approximately.
We did read the total radio numbers. We do have that package in here because we had to know how much to tell them.
We have not agreed with LCRA. We haven't seen contract with LCRA.
All right.
That'll have to be
We still also have,
soon.
go ahead, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking. We also have, we still got to get into the agreement with Brown County too. I mean, with the city of Brownwood too, don't we? We got to do an agreement with them. Yeah, it's not done.
As of late as Friday, we were still making some modifications to the dispatch board and all. So I think hopefully we'll have all that wrapped up very soon. Maybe as soon as.
There'll have to be an interlocal with,
So you anticipate having an agenda item sometime in the next week or two that you're gonna approve contracts with LCRA, you're gonna approve, I'm assuming all at the same time, approve the dispatch agreement. There's leases with the tower owners that we're gonna have to enter into and pay for, the leases for towers. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be done. I just wanted, is that what we're saying? Okay.
And about the infrastructure, I'm not sure what that is. I don't know how to make that motion.
Okay, so the motion was for me to research our financing,
for
options.
infrastructure.
Yes, options
Research financing options.
for infrastructure.
That's road material, elevator, some building.
The precinct roads and courthouse repair and maintenance.
Would you like, it only makes sense to get your Shane an advance copy of that so you have some time to look over the actual agreement with LCRA and I'll make sure that you get that in advance of the meeting.
Do we have one yet?
No, but
No.
it's forthcoming, I'm certain. Like I said, we're still working out some final items with the dispatch board and a couple others.
I need to send those back to Sharon, please.
Okay, back to our consideration, item number 6, consideration approval of payment of any bills as needed.
I'm a blowing fun right now. I was, and I stopped and got in. I interrupted myself.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I'm not going to pay the bills, think about
Okay, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. All right.
I guess I should put up my map where I would open the letter.
All right, that was the last item. When do we want to meet again? Monday?
Let's meet Monday.
We must meet Monday.
How many people have to be here? Everybody?
Everybody needs to be here.
That's the one that we signed for we do the.
That's the 21st.
Yes, that's the
Or-
hearing on the budget, the adoption of the budget, the
Okay.
tax rate, all that stuff.
All right, so we'll meet again on the
You're gonna
21st,
take care of the
9 a.m.
notices in the paper.
Those are all in there.
Chief Johnston, anything?
No, sir.
Tiana,
Yes, sir.
anything?
Yes, sir.
Stephanie? All right, then we'll be adjourned.
Hey, Ann, I got something for you and Shane. I had a question for you, but I can't remember what it was.
We've got a lot of